Welcome. So today we're going to look at Varga or divisional charts and their variations. Parashara teaches 16 divisional charts, but there are various other divisional charts which are mentioned in various texts and used by people. And quite a few of these divisional charts have variations. That means within the name of the chart there are various subnames or different ways of calculating based on the same number of divisions. So let's have a look at that. Here you see a Parashara Hora chart. Notice in the Parashara Hora chart all the planets are in Cancer and Leo. Occasionally people write to me because they think this is a bug. No, this is the way Parashara designed it, and there are reasons for that. But there are other variations of the Hora chart. There are many variations, and this is the only one that has this particular restricted number of signs. The others all use the 12 signs. So let me just show you how we create a Hora chart. We'll try and create a North Indian Hora chart here. So we just enter Hora, or we can just type 2, and you see the chart here. Now we got a North Indian chart because the last chart I created was North Indian. If we wanted to make a South Indian one, I'll show you how we do that. You just click on the chart and then you can type South or North or any of these, and then you just change this to South. You just click on it and select. So I'll give you an example of that, because what I'll do down here is create another type of chart. It has almost all of the Varga charts in the software. There wasn't quite room for every one of them, but all the ones that you're commonly using, and you just click on the number to get the divisional chart. It's extremely convenient. Like this is the Dashamsha chart, and this is the Dwadashamsha chart. So when there's a variation, it shows up here. So we click on the Hora chart, we'll get, it's actually here. So this says PA for Parashara, like this one. See PA up here. So this is, and then we just use this little switch here to change it. So let's put a South Indian all divisions chart here. So we click here. We can type all, it's the easiest way, but there are a number of different versions of this all divisions chart, and this is the one that includes the variations. So we want to change this to a South Indian chart. We can just click on it. There we go. Now, as you see in my other videos, you can change the size of these glyphs here. You can make them into actual astrological glyphs. You can do so many things, but that's in the other videos on charts. Here I just want to show you about changing between the various types. So if we set everything to be a Hora chart, here we go, you see. So they all have this Cancer Leo situation. Now let's change it to a different type of Hora chart. Now where you have in the top right corner of tables and charts, then you'll sometimes find these switches. So it allows you to switch between various options. And if there's a bracket either side, because there isn't always a bracket, but if there's brackets either side, it's because there's quite a few different choices, and you can cycle forward or backwards through the list. So if I go forwards by clicking the little switch on the right, we get the Parivriti Dwaya. Parivriti means it's a continuous flow. So the first Hora of Aries is Aries, the second Hora of Aries is Taurus, the first Hora of Taurus is Gemini, the second Hora of Horus is Cancer, the first Hora of Gemini is Leo, the second Hora of Gemini is Virgo, and so on. So the flow starts in Aries, goes all the way around to finishing at the end in Pisces. It goes around, there's of course 2 cycles. That's why it's called Parivritti Dwayas, because since there's 2 divisions per chart, there'll be 2 cycles of the complete set of 12 signs. So that's what it means by Dwaya. Dwaya is Sanskrit for 2. So Parivritti Dwaya. Now, there are actually many different Hora charts. In the Pro is, I think, 5, and in the Jaimini there's even 10 different versions, because some of them are a bit obscure. But the common ones are all here in this Sama Saptika, Kashinath, Hora. Kashinath, when you see Kashinath, well, this is related to the tradition of Sanjay Rat, Pandit Sanjay Rat, but you may find the same Hora under a different name in some other texts. So then we have Jagannath Hora, that's another name from Sanjay's tradition, but it is a standard Hora chart. We have Manduka Hora, Gola Hora, Mihir Hora or Labha Hora, this is often called. This is a popular Hora because it's all about gains. That's the idea of Labha, means gains. And then we have Sambhuka Hora, Somanath Hora. This is more about health. Then we have Bhakta Parashara. So this is the complete set in the Jaimini version. And your version may have a few less, but it'll be the ones that are commonly in use. So we can do the same thing in this, say this North Indian version here, we can cycle through the only difference is that here, of course, you have rapid access to all the Vargas, but there isn't room to give the actual names. So if you want to see what the name of the thing is, you need to put up this dedicated chart, Hora chart. Now this title here, where we have the description and the short version, and then we have the timing, is what we call the title. It's the title of the chart, and there's a button here, it says title. You can change the title in various ways, but one way of cycling the titles on the whole page is to click the button. So there is versions where it's just the description with the short form, and the name of the person, and the short form. Then there's the description, the time rising of the ascendant. And then this is the name of the person, the short form, and the rising of the ascendant. So the rising time of the ascendant is extremely useful when you're doing rectification or anything even touching in that direction. So it's a very handy method, and it'll only show up in this kind of chart. It's not going to show up in these all division charts, but you do get the name. So if you're one of those people who like everything in black and white, and you need to know whether this is Bob Dylan's chart or something to do with the transit chart, here, this is a transit chart. It could be any chart here. So normally this is a red title, and if we use this one, it's a blue title, and that's color coding, but that's also, you can tell from the name. So that's it. It's extremely simple. And in the very latest release of version 10, there are even 3 variations for Trimshamsha and 2 variations for Dashamsha. I added the Varanasi. Some people call the continuous or Parivritti charts Varanasi. Some people call them Tajika. But the technical name really is Parivritti. I'll just show you how to change between the primary chart and the secondary chart. We call this the primary chart, and we call this the native 2. It could be a transit chart, it could be another person's chart, it could be a Vashval chart, it could be any kind of thing. The whole software is designed for working with 2 or indeed more charts at once. It's one of the relatively unique features of the software, that throughout the software, wherever you are, you can compare between charts of 2 different natives. So even if one of them is just a transit chart. So for example, if you want to put the now Los Angeles chart here, we can just click on it, and If we have been searching on something else, we can remove that. And then you'll see native for this. So you click on that and you click now Los Angeles, and then you're done. We could actually apply any chart from our database. For example, we right click on it and we do select native for this. I mean, these are the ones we've already loaded, but there's also this add natives from list. So we click on that and we'll get potentially a long list. So for example, we could have all of the alphabetically listed charts, and we just select one, say whatever, Bill Gates, and then we see Bill Gates has already appeared up here. So this will become Bill Gates' Parashara chart. That's all you have to do. Thank you very much.